Hi guys, Dr. Rachel Hippolyte here. So now we're going to talk about how neurofeedback works. Neurofeedback or brain training, as I call it with the machine that we use. Okay, so you would have heard me speak about when the brain works in one of the previous videos, when the brain works well and when it doesn't work well. So when it works well, it's like a professional orchestra. The job of the brain is to take on information in real time and adapt to that new information. So think about a professional orchestra with a conductor at the front telling every area of the brain or instrument at what level, what notes to play, for how long, and then also when to quiet them down. So that is a synchronicity of the areas of the brain. Okay. Unfortunately, with stress, and many other things, poor diet, stress is the huge one. Um, the brain becomes overwhelmed, and all of a sudden, it is no longer flexible and able to adapt to new information. Okay, so the job of the brain take on information externally and internally in real time and adapt to that new information. So when it becomes overwhelmed, all of a sudden it sorry, let me just get out of the way. All of a sudden it becomes inflexible, rigid, and it's not adapting to new information in real time. It's what we call a rigid brain. It is using information from its past um, that is no longer allowing it to update that new information. So that's a rigid, inflexible, unhealthy brain, and that causes all sorts of symptoms like anxiety, depression, poor focus, poor sleep, poor physical, mental health. Um, so the machine that we use is called a nonlinear dynamical machine. Your brain is non-linear and dynamical. It is always changing, always adapting, or always changing every single millisecond. Okay, it's very hard or impossible to judge what it is actually going to do next. So that means that we rely on the brain's ability to move away from discomfort if given the right information. Um, other machines, you would take a scan and then you would push that brain based on that scan away from what you don't want to see. Okay. For me, this is a much safer way because we're allowing the brain, which has that inherent ability to do the right thing if given that right information. So, how does it work? Okay, you sit with sensors here, here, and here, um, and you're wired up to a machine. It's really important to remember that the sensors only sense, they don't put anything into your brain. Okay, they are looking at the summation of the electrical activity of your brain, and they are looking for only one specific frequency, or it's what we would call a flutter. All that flutter means is your brain is just about to make a change. It's just about to do something different. You're listening to calming music. The music means nothing other than it's calming. It's not part of the training. At the millisecond that your brain senses this flutter, which basically means that your brain is just about to make a change, you will get a glitch in the sound. It's like a static. Okay. Another job of your brain is to constantly look for differences. Okay. The way I like to think about it, deer at the side of a really busy highway. He's always grazed there. So the sound of the highway is no longer a difference, therefore it no longer senses it as a threat. Yeah. If I trod behind that deer and I broke a stick, that would be a difference, and that would orientate the brain back to the moment. In the moment, that brain will assess, what do I need to do? Do I need to run? Do I need to fight? Do I need to freeze? Is there even a threat, or can I relax and carry on grazing? So the difference, which is what we use as the glitch, brings the brain back to the moment and then allows the brain to assess what it is or was just about to do, what change it was just about to make. Now, it's really important to recognize the glitch just means your brain is changing. It's not a bad thing. It would happen if you went from sleep to wakefulness. Now, if that was at 7 a.m. when you've had enough sleep and it's time to get up, that would probably be the right option that it was going to do. If it was at 2 a.m. when you've only had 3 hours sleep, you're tired, but you're overthinking, then that would probably be the wrong. And your brain would then be able to look at what it's doing and say, not really anything to worry about in this moment. I'm sleeping. I need to be able to sleep, and it would change what it was going to do. Okay. So the glitch just means your brain is doing something, making a change. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. But what that glitch does is it orientates your brain back to the moment. And rather than your brain just automatically doing this change without assessing the information and externally and internally, because it's been orientated back to the moment with the glitch, your brain will then say, I was just about to go down, do that change. Is that the most energy efficient route? Okay. For example, really simplified here, I was just about to cause an anxious, overthinking thought. I'm sat here listening to calming music. There's no threat. There's no tiger in the room. That what I was just about to do, that rigid pathway that I was doing because I thought it was the right thing, is probably not the most energy efficient option. So therefore, we're now going to do something that's more energy efficient. So this allows your brain to work in real time, the only time to be, and adapt and adjust to real information in real time. And that makes your brain flexible. It makes your brain resilient to stress. It allows you to see the positives rather than the negatives. It allows you to see with clarity rather than focusing on what you don't want. You're all of a sudden seeing solutions of what you need to do to get the life you want. That's a healthy brain. That's what the brain should be doing. That's what the brain is good at doing. It's just that over time, with stress, unfortunately, the brain has become unhealthy. And then the most important organ in your body, it controls everything in your body. We need our brains to be healthy to expect to have good mental and physical health. So the way I like to think about this machine, it is literally just a mirror. When I look in that mirror is just giving me information about what I look like. The machine is just giving the brain information about what it was just about to do. Okay. If I then decided that I needed to go and brush my hair or change my top or put some makeup on, it's what I'm doing with that information that's making the change. It's what your brain does with that information that makes the change. We're relying on the brain's inherent ability to move away from discomfort. Those rigid pathways are really hard work energetically for it to do. So, in real time, when it's given better information, it will generally move away if it feels safe to do so. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That's a really simplified version. To be honest, the brain is such an amazing, complex organ that we have so little understanding about that I find that the simplified explanations are so much better. Okay, so your brain has the ability to do the best, most energy efficient option. We're just giving it information to do that. Hope that makes sense, guys.